Today we are going to start with BHIC 103 History of India 2. इस वीडियो में सॉल्व्ड असाइनमेंट है BHIC 103 कोड का. जिन्होंने BAHIH हिस्ट्री ऑनर्स सिलेक्ट किया है उनका कोड होगा BHIC 103. उनके लिए ये वीडियो मेनली. असाइनमेंट 1 में 2 क्वेश्चन है, 500 वर्ड्स ईच है. द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज Who were the Kushanas, and write a note on the assimilation of foreigners into the India's mainstream. Second question is discuss the economic, political and social organization of Tamilkam. 20 marks का है, so you should write at least 500 words है, तो you should at least write 5 pages. 4 to 5 pages, not less than that. Now the second assignment is write the answers questions in about 250 words each. इसमें आप 250 पेजेस मीन्स 2.5 पेजेस से लेके 3 पेजेस तक लिखिए. तो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज राइट अ नोट ऑन द क्राफ्ट प्रोडक्शन इन द नॉर्थ इंडिया एंड एक्सप्लेन इट्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल नेचर. Next question is describe the salient features of the Palwa temple architecture. The fifth question is what do you understand by the revival of commerce and trade in the early medieval period and discuss it. Third assignment जो है वो 100 words each में मीन्स एक पेज आप लिखिएगा. that is more than enough. So it contains of 6 marks each. The first is Indo-Greeks. You have to explain what is Indo-Greek, who were Indo-Greeks, Puranic Hinduism, Prakrit and Pali, ports and urban processes. Assignment 1, let's start. Who were the Kushanas and write a note on the assimilation of foreign into the Indian mainstream. So first you have to give the introduction. The Kushanas, also known as the Kuishang, were a great they were the tribes. So you have to write the Yuichi tribes principality और उनके बारे में आप अच्छे से लिखिए. आप वीडियो को स्टॉप कर करके भी लिखते जा सकते हैं, अदरवाइज यू कैन टेक स्क्रीनशॉट. कुशाना एम्पायर क्या था उसके बारे में लिखिए, कैसे आया, origin कैसे हुआ कुशाना का, origin of the Kushana. The Kushanas are one of the 5 branches of the Yuinchi tribes that lived along the Chinese border or in Central Asia. In Chinese sources, they are referred as the Guinhang. They finally surpassed the other Yuezhi tribes in power. Kanishka of Kushana dynasty के बारे में भी आप लिखिए. He is regarded as one of the greatest Kushana ruler and renowned king of the ancient India. Significance of Kushana Empire's achievement. कुशाना का डिक्लाइन कैसे होता है फिर. और फिर आप कंक्लूजन में लिख सकते हैं दस द एम्पायर ऑफ द कुशाना प्लेड अ क्रूशियल रोल इन सिविलाइजिंग द वर्ल्ड. इंडियन सिविलाइजेशन स्प्रेड अक्रॉस द सेंट्रल एंड ईस्टर्न एशिया. एज अ रिजल्ट चाइना, इंडिया एंड पर्शियन एंड Mesopotamia all had thriving commercial relations with the Roman Empire. As a result of the Kushana influence, Buddhism spread throughout Central and Eastern Asia and China, as well as the development of Gandhara and Mathura school of paintings. Now the second question is discuss the economic, political and social organization of Tamilkam. So first you have to give the introduction. The Sangam period or age, particular referring to the third Sangam period, is a period of the history of ancient Tamil Nadu, Kerala and parts of Sri Lanka, then known as the Tamilkam, spanning from 6th century BC to 3rd century BC. And then you have to start with your body. I hope you are writing it down or taking the screenshots. संगम लिटरेचर के बारे में लिखिए क्योंकि संगम का लिटरेचर जो था वो बहुत फेमस है. सो यू शुड मेंशन अबाउट संगम लिटरेचर ऑल्सो. एज मेंशन अर्लियर, द संगम वर्क्स कंटेन्स माइंड्स ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन फॉर द स्टडी ऑफ अर्ली हिस्ट्री ऑफ द तमिलकम. दे रिफ्लेक्ट द मैटर ऑफ द ग्रेट हिस्टोरिकल इंपॉर्टेंस. Toplikia PM, a treatise of the Tamil grammar and the poetic, composed probably during the second Sangam, is the oldest extant literary work in the Tamil. Modern scholars use their Sangam term Sangam literature for only of these works and the verses like this. You have to write it down. 8 वर्क्स है उसके बारे में लिखिए. Sangam polity. Hereditary monarch was the form of the government during the Sangam period, and the king had to take the advice of his ministers, court poet, and imperial court or away. Sangam society कैसा था? Tolkappiyam refers to the five-fold divisions of the land. The people living in these five divisions had their respective chief occupation as well as their gods also. Tolkappiyam also refers to the four castes, namely the Arsir, polity and religion. Vanigas carried a trade and commerce. So different castes were there which had their different occupations. So the caste was divided into occupation. On the occupational basis, the caste division was mainly there, as we have seen in other times also, that mainly the caste system was divided on the occupational, but later on we see that the caste system was changed and its viewpoints were changed, or its terms and terminologies were changed. Position of women is very important. There is a plenty of information in the Sangam literature to raise the positions of women during the Sangam age. Women poets like the Avyar and different flourished in this period and contributed to the Tamil literature. There were many women who have contributed to the Tamil literature. So the contribution of women is great during the Sangam literature. We cannot deny their contribution. The courage of women was also appreciated in many poems. Kardbuch, chaste life, and considered the highest virtue of the women, love marriages was common practice, and women were allowed to choose their life partners. However, the life of the widows were miserable. But one thing cannot be overruled or ignored, that the life of widows were that time also not good. It was miserable, but women were allowed to choose their life partner. The practice of sati was also prevalent that time. Practice of sati was practiced in the society. You should write about fine arts in the Sangam age. Economy of the Sangam age is also very important. Agriculture was the chief occupation of the Sangam age. Rice was the chief occupation. Rice was common crop. Ragi, sugarcane, cotton, pepper, ginger, turmeric. Write about these things. You can write about spinning. The poem mentions the cotton clothes and the thin as the clouds of streams and lots of snakes. So these things you can write, and you can conclude by writing your answers like this. Like, there's a picture that emerged from the study of Sangam literature reflects that the period witnessed the conceptions of state for the first time in the South India. However, it is still in the process of civilization. Sangam polity was categorized by the patriarchal and matrimonial systems, in which administrative staff system and various offices were directly controlled by the rulers. We also notice social inequality with the dominance of the Brahmins, but the acute class distinctions which appear in the later time were lacking in the Sangam age. The belief and custom practices by Sangam people suggest that the complex nature of their religion, both animism and idol worship, were followed during the Sangam age. Now the second assignment, it contains of 250 words each. So write a note on the craft production of North India and explain its organizational nature. Individual craftsmen and their families lived in the rural communities, often alongside the families. So like this you have to write. Fourth question is, describe the salient features of the Palwa temple and architecture. Salient features of Palwa architecture and the Palwa architecture showed the transitional form of the rock cut architecture. You should write about the rock cut architecture in stone built temples, because those were the famous architecture. The question 5th is, what do you understand by the revival of commerce and trade in the early medieval period? Discuss it. In northern India, there was a decline of trade and commerce between 7th to 10th century, and which led to the decline of towns and town life in the religion. Like this you have to write. Media of exchange. Relative decline of trade. The second phase is 900 to 1300 AD, craft and industry. Literature. Trade in Indian Ocean. Thus, as a result of various factors, Indian trade with the West, Southeast and China increased steadily, and South India, Bengal and Gujarat took the lead in this trade, and which also a significant factor towards the wealth and prosperities of these areas. Assignment 3, Indo-Greeks के बारे में आपको बताना है. These are short answers. Short question answers. Thus, the decline of the Indo-Greek kingdoms, and the ultimate Indo-Greek kingdom was Tartu II. He governed the Punjab region till 55 BC, come to state until 10 AD, and their rule terminated with the incursions. Puranic Hinduism. Brahminical zone also you can write in it. Prakrit and Pali. Pali and Prakrit literature are written during the post-Vedic period. Like this you have to write. The use of common language was Pali to explain the doctrine and aided to spread of religion as well. Vinay Pitaka, Sut Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka. Thus, language such as Prakrit and Pali were elevated in the importance by the new religion. These languages were used to discuss the Buddhist and Jain philosophies, and canons were later written in the local languages. This helped to pave the way for the growth of vernacular literature. Question 9 is port. The history of Indian maritime trade goes back to the centuries ago. During Gupta period, there was also flourishing external-internal trades. Then the last question is question number 10, urban process. Urbanization is the development of an area into an urban center where people live and work and have a better opportunities. The expansion of foreign trade and growth of regional kingdom contributed to urbanization in medieval era. Thus, the medieval era in the Indian witnessed many cultural, political, economic, and commercial changes. It was a period between modern and ancient time. Foreign traders was increasing exponentially, giving the rise to the development trade and commerce. Most of the middle classes of the Indians began turning to trade. Many centers underwent urbanization and developed into an urban centers. Major administration towns and pilgrimage towns began developing into urban towns, and the cities like the Surat, Masuli, Patnam, etc. were important township in the medieval India. The urbanization of the medieval India could be mostly attributed towards the development of the commerce. So we are done with this assignment, and the other assignment will be also uploaded, and it is uploaded also. Many are uploaded, so you can go and watch your code videos. Thank you everyone.